All right, welcome back for another deep dive. And this time we're going to be focusing on something I think a lot of vacation rental owners are really going to benefit from. We're talking all about email marketing.
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful tool that a lot of people maybe overlook in this day and age.
So email marketing specifically for vacation rentals. And we've got a really great article here that we're going to be kind of dissecting and pulling out all the best tips and tricks for you. And it's called Cracking the Code on Vacation Rental Email Marketing by Syed Abdullah, who's the founder of emailsequence.com. And I think he's got some pretty good credentials here.
Yeah, he does. He was a former superhost on Airbnb and even part of the VRBO luxury program. So definitely somebody who knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, it seems like he really walks the walk. So let's jump into it. First things first, why email marketing? What makes it so special? I mean, everyone uses email, but what makes it particularly relevant for vacation rentals?
Well, it all comes down to ownership,
Yeah.
When you're relying on these platforms, you're renting your audience, and they can change the algorithm at any time, and they can change their fees and all that. But with email, you own your audience.
I like that word, ownership.
Yeah, it's like renting an apartment versus owning a house, right?
That's a great analogy.
You have much more freedom and control, and you're building something that's truly yours.
And you can even build equity, I guess, in your email list.
Yeah, exactly. And Syed actually puts a number on this. He says the ROI of email marketing is over 4,000%.
Wow, that's huge.
I mean, think about that. That just shows the power of direct communication. You're not paying some platform to reach your audience. You're actually reaching them directly.
Yeah, you're cutting out the middleman.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I need to start using email marketing. Where do I begin? How do I start building an email list? I've got a website, but
Well, Syed's got some great tips in the article, and one of the easiest ones is to use website pop-ups, You've probably seen these.
yeah, for sure.
They can be a little bit annoying sometimes, but they can be effective if done right.
Like sign up for a newsletter and get 10% off your next stay kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. And he even talks about in the article leveraging Wi-Fi sign up. When people come to your property and they want to use the Wi-Fi, they've got to give you their email address.
Oh, that's smart. And I've definitely done that at plenty of places.
Right. And then another great idea he mentions is lead magnets, like offering a free ebook, maybe about local attractions, or a guide to the best restaurants in the area, or packing checklist, things like that.
Yeah, give them something useful that actually adds value.
Exactly. And in return, they give you their email address.
So now you've got this great list of potential customers. Now what?
Well, now comes the fun part. Now you got to craft a winning email strategy.
Okay, so tell me, what does a winning email strategy look like?
Well, one of the things Syed talks about is the 80-20 rule.
The 80-20 rule.
The idea that 20% of your effort drives 80% of the results. So he says you got to focus on the high-impact actions.
I love that rule. I try to apply that in my business all the time. But how does that look in terms of email marketing?
Well, for example, instead of spending hours crafting the perfect email design, he says you got to focus on writing compelling subject lines that will actually get people to open the email in the first place.
Yeah, because what's the point of a beautiful email if no one even opens it?
Exactly. And another thing he talks about is using booking confirmations as an opportunity to upsell experiences.
I like that.
Offer a discounted tour package or a spa treatment or something so you're adding even more value to their stay.
Yeah, I guess they're already in that vacation mindset, right?
Exactly.
They're feeling good. Why not offer them a few more things that'll enhance their trip?
Yeah, make it special, make it memorable.
So then they'll hopefully leave a glowing review.
Exactly. And another thing he talks about is pre-arrival guides.
Ooh, tell me about those.
You send these out before the guest even arrives, and it's like a way to build anticipation and excitement.
So kind of like personalized recommendations, local things to do, answer any questions they might have.
Exactly. Give them all the information they need.
It's like a concierge service through email.
Exactly. And that's where the concept of email sequences comes in, which is one of the things Syed talks about in the article.
Oh, okay. Email sequences. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, instead of just sending out one-off emails, you actually create a series of emails that kind of guide them on a journey, Each email builds on the last one.
Like a chain.
Yeah, and it nurtures them towards eventually booking, and it really makes them feel like they're getting that special treatment.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. I'm picturing this email sequence. So what would a winning email sequence actually look like? What are the components?
Well, Syed outlines what he calls the $1 million email sequence formula.
$1 million formula.
Yeah, and it starts with hooking them early. That very first email is so important. It's like the first impression.
You only get one shot.
Right, so you want to make it count. Maybe offer a discount or Just highlight something unique about your property or just simply thank them for joining your lists.
Right. Show them you appreciate them.
Yeah, and then you move into building trust.
Okay, so how do you do that?
You're not just trying to sell them something, you're positioning yourself as a helpful resource, you know?
Right.
So maybe share some valuable content like those local guides we talked about, maybe offer some tips for making the most of their stay, or answer common questions that guests often have.
So you're building that relationship and that authority.
Exactly. And then once you've established that trust, that's when you can present your offer more directly, you know?
Okay.
Highlight the best features of your property, maybe showcase any special promotions you might have running.
So it's all about timing.
Yeah, and the sequence doesn't end there. You can actually continue to upsell and cross-sell even after they've booked.
Oh, how do you do that?
Maybe offer some add-ons like late checkout or grocery delivery, or maybe even discounted tickets to some local attractions. Oh, I like that. So they book their stay, but then they get an email like, hey, by the way, want to add on these extra experiences, make it even better.
And then even after their stay, you want to re-engage and retain those
They
customers.
end up coming back.
Yeah, so you can send them a follow-up email thanking them for their business, maybe
Yeah.
ask for feedback, encourage them to book again in the future,
Yeah.
keep that relationship going.
So the sequence keeps going even after they've checked out.
Exactly, yeah. And Syed really emphasizes the importance of analyzing and optimizing these sequences along the way. So it's not like a set it and forget it type of thing.
So keep track of open rates, click-through rates, see what's working, what's not working.
Exactly.
And there's software that can help us do that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, lots of great tools out there that can help automate and streamline this process.
Okay, we've talked about this million-dollar email sequence. Before we move on, I want to go back to subject lines for a sec, because I think that's super important.
Yeah, it really is. Getting people to actually open the email in the first place. What are some tips for writing a really good subject line?
Well, Syed suggests a few things. He says personalization is key. Using the guest's name in the subject line can really make it feel more personal, less like a generic marketing blast.
Okay, and I've seen that done before.
Yeah, and another tip he gives is to create a sense of urgency,
Got it.
but without being too spammy, you know.
Right. So maybe something like, hey, don't miss out on this, but not limited time offer with 1,000,000 exclamation points.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the why of email marketing, the how. Now I want to see the what. Can we dive into some specific examples of winning email templates? I want to see what these actually look like.
Absolutely. Syed shares a few in the article that we can break down and see what makes them so effective.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right, so let's take a look at a couple of those winning email examples that Syed shares in the article. One that caught my eye was the limited time offer email.
Oh, yeah. The one with the subject line, reserve your getaway before it's gone 20% off.
Yeah, that one. It's a classic for a reason.
It definitely grabs your attention.
Yeah, it creates that sense of urgency without being too pushy.
Right.
And the body of the email, if you look at it, focuses on, how that discount can actually enhance their vacation experience.
Yeah, it's not just, hey, save money. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, use this discount to make your trip even better,
Exactly. Yeah.
more memorable.
It taps into the emotion of the vacation, not just the transactional aspect of it.
And Syed mentions that specific template increased booking conversions by 35%.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That's huge.
Just shows you the power of a well-crafted email.
All right, let's look at another one. What about that seasonal guide email? That one sounded interesting.
Yeah, so this one's all about providing value, positioning yourself as that local expert,
Right.
Instead of just saying, book now, you're actually giving them something helpful.
Yeah, the example they were talking about, like hand-picked summer activities, local dining gems,
Exactly.
insider tips.
And that builds trust, which, as we talked about earlier, is just so crucial.
And he said that type of email paired with a dedicated landing page on your website drove a 28% increase in click-through rates.
Yeah, pretty significant.
So it's not just getting them to open the email.
It's getting them back to your site.
Back to your website, yeah.
Where they can learn more and hopefully book, right?
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about the content of the emails. Let's talk about design for a minute.
Yeah.
Do I need to be like a graphic design whiz to create a really visually appealing email?
Not necessarily. Syed actually emphasizes simplicity and deliverability over fancy designs.
Really?
Yeah, because those emails with all the bells and whistles can actually trigger spam filters.
Oh, interesting.
And they end up in the junk folder, so sometimes a plain text email can actually outperform a super flashy design.
Less is more in this case.
Often, yeah. And another thing he talks about is mobile optimization, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Most people are checking their emails on their phones these days, so you want to make sure that your email is going to look good and be easy to read on any device.
Yeah, I get so annoyed when I have to like zoom in and scroll around
Exactly.
to actually see what the email's saying.
It's all about creating a seamless experience.
Right.
So speaking of seamless experiences, let's talk about AI.
Oh yeah, AI.
It's transforming the world of email marketing.
It's everywhere these days.
Yeah, and Syed's company, emailsequence.com, actually uses AI in some pretty cool ways. One example is targeted automation.
Oh, tell me about that.
So this basically means sending personalized emails based on guest preferences and behavior.
So like, if I know a guest is traveling with kids, I could automatically send them recommendations for family-friendly activities.
Exactly, yeah. And AI can also help with dynamic content, like rewriting emails in seconds to optimize clarity and engagement. And then there's A/B testing, which helps you figure out which subject lines or email variations perform better.
So it's like having a whole team of marketing experts working for you behind the scenes,
Yeah, in a way it is.
powered by robots.
And the results are really impressive. Syed shares an example of a vacation rental client in Florida who increased bookings by 35% just by implementing these AI tools.
Another 35%, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Like AI is really leveling the playing field, you know?
Yeah,
So that even smaller vacation rental owners can have access to these really sophisticated tools.
absolutely.
Okay, so here's a connection I didn't see coming. You ready for this?
Yeah.
How email marketing can boost your SEO.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprising connection,
I
right?
thought those were totally separate things.
They are, but they can actually work together in some really cool ways.
Okay.
So when you send emails that drive traffic to your website, it actually improves your SEO metrics.
Really?
Yeah, things like dwell time, pages per session, bounce rate, all of that factors into how Google ranks your website.
So my email marketing efforts could help my website rank higher in search results.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about creating that valuable content that people want to engage with, whether it's in an email or on your website.
I love that. It's all connected.
Yeah, and Syed also mentions the potential for natural backlinking.
Natural backlinking. Remind me what that is.
So if you're sharing valuable content in your emails, like those local guides, people might share those links on social media or on their own websites. And backlinks are like gold for SEO.
Right.
They tell Google that other sites trust your content.
Okay, so it's like this ripple effect.
Yeah, it's all about connecting the dots and creating a really holistic marketing strategy.
This is blowing my mind.
And ultimately, it comes down to building that trust and loyalty. You know,
Right.
when people trust your brand, they enjoy your content, they're more likely to book with you directly.
And that's what we want.
Exactly.
Cut out those platforms as much as possible, or at least use them in conjunction with email marketing. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the tactics and strategies of email marketing, but I want to kind of zoom out for a second
Yeah.
and talk about the bigger picture. What are some of the long-term benefits of building this email list?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's important to remember that email marketing isn't just about driving those immediate bookings. It's really about building a sustainable business for the long haul.
Okay.
When you have that loyal email list, you're not at the mercy of those algorithm changes or platform fees. You know,
Yeah.
you have that direct line of communication with your ideal guests, and you can nurture those relationships over time.
So you're building a community, you're building a following
Exactly.
that's not dependent on any one platform.
And as you continue to provide value and connect with those people through email, those relationships are going to translate into repeat bookings, positive reviews, word of mouth referrals.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, exactly. That's the real power of email marketing. It's about building a thriving business that's built to last.
This has been an incredible conversation. I feel like I've learned so much.
Good.
I'm ready to go revamp my entire approach to email marketing.
I love that.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious. Syed mentioned some additional resources in the article. Where can our listeners go to learn more and really take their email marketing to the next level?
Yeah, let's talk about that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our email marketing deep dive. You've convinced me I'm sold, but I think our listeners are going to want more. They're going to want those actionable steps. So where can they go to take this to the next level?
Yeah, well, luckily, Syed gives us some really great resources in the article. First and foremost, I highly recommend checking out his website, emailsequence.com.
Okay, emailsequence.com.
Yeah, he's got a ton of valuable information there, specifically for vacation rental owners, like blog posts, webinars, even those vacation rental email marketing templates we mentioned.
Oh yeah, those templates. I bet
Yeah.
people would really love to get their hands on those.
They're great, they can save you so much time and effort, and they're designed with best practices in mind.
Okay, and he mentioned a YouTube channel as well, right?
Right, so he's got a YouTube channel called Email Plus SEO Webinar. It features experts from emailsequence.com diving even deeper into those two strategies, email and SEO, and how they work together to boost your visibility and bookings.
Okay, so it's like a webinar that's also on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They break down complex topics into really easy to understand terms and offer actionable tips that you can implement right away.
Great, I'm gonna check that out for sure. Anything else we should mention?
Yeah, Syed also highlights some really inspiring case studies in the article, real-world examples of vacation rental owners who have seen amazing results using these techniques.
I love a good case study.
It's always motivating, to see how others have successfully implemented these strategies.
If they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly, so it makes it feel more attainable.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's a great takeaway from this whole deep dive. It's about empowering vacation rental owners to really take control of their marketing and build a thriving business on their own terms.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with that send button.
So what are you waiting for?
I'm ready to hit send. For our listeners, be sure to check out the resources we mentioned today, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.